Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the TOS Talks Podcast. I'm here with hosts Ivan and Cody, and we're joined by guest Aldrin. He's a school friend of Ivan and Cody, and it's my first time talking with him.
But anyways, back in like September of 2023, my church had like this dance group thing, and they needed a bunch of Filipinos to do it because it was for like a Filipino culture, right?
You go to
So
church.
we assembled, yeah,
I never knew that. Okay.
like this Avengers lineup. It's like the most random group of people, but like since we were all Filipino, it made sense we were together. But like it's funny because all of these people I've seen in my I'd see them at parties, they'd be in classes, but I've never seen them like all together in the same place, right? So we had like a whole thing going on, right? And I just, we did this dance, this cultural dance. We made like a little group chat, and it expanded from there. And we just became friends, and that was great. So that's one. Now there's just one guy in our. I'm gonna name him. We're gonna name him. Greg. Okay.
Greg. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Greg. So Greg, he's a bit of a interesting fella, right? So he just
Greg Shady.
He's a little shady sometimes. Not in like the drugs type of way, but like or criminal activity type of way, but like emotionally intelligence kind of way. He doesn't really think about other people, or he doesn't think about what his actions are gonna do, right? So Greg, he has like these other friends, but one of them is like very, very against me and this other dude. This other dude, we're gonna name him Roger, right? So Roger, me and Roger, right? One of Greg's friends is basically like talking all this BS about us, like throwing mud on our names and stuff, making fun of us and all of that. And Greg, he's not even like really doing anything for real to like stop it. So to me, I'm like, bro, what you doing, bro? Like that's not very cool. And forgot exactly what happened, but at some point he just like stopped to us, or like I confronted him about something or about that exact situation, and he just kind of like stopped to us about it. Because I told him like, you're not standing up for us, and you're not really trying to defend who I thought were his real friends at the time, Roger. But I don't even know. He just distanced himself from us, and all the girls in our group, they're trying to like, he's still talking to the girls in our group, but he's just not talking to us. So it goes like the first half of January, just like, and at some point, we get to talking to him, but that's really like the first sign of being a strange little fella. So, during that entire time, I was kind of very like mad at him. I was very confused. I was actively trying to get him to talk, and Roger, right? But he just wouldn't. So, sometime around he starts talking to us again, and then we patch things up for a little bit, and yeah, that's, I guess, all is well. Now that's a part of the story that I needed to explain for what's coming up. So going back to the relationship thing, around, I want to say March, spring break, there are these two, like not two, but one of the girls in our group, she goes on vacation with like one of our friends and another friend, and she's basically like, hey, there's this girl in our group, right? Like I was in VC at the time in Discord, or they joined, and they were like, it would be funny if Aldrin and this one girl, started talking, something like that, right? At the time, I was like, huh? I wasn't really thinking about it, but just that, it like planted a seed in my brain about what if this is actually a thing? Like, what if she's actually interested? Because like the way it was presented to me, it seemed like she was already interested in like trying to do something. Come to turn out, I'd find out like a couple months later that she just was not interested at all. But like I do get her number, and she kind of knows what's up when I'm talking to her. And this is around when track is, so like May, right? And I start talking to her and stuff. At some point, she tells me, "Hey, I know you like me, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to do anything right now. I'm just kind of going with the flow." And that's kind of like that's a bomb that drops a bomb on me. I tell
Going with
Roger
the
and Greg
flow.
about it, right? Yeah, that's what she
Oh.
said.
That's-
She's basically like,
I hate
if
that
something
statement.
happens in high school, sure, but like, I'm not really trying to do anything.
I hate that
It's a
statement.
lot of people have liked her,
I guess.
but yeah. So I tell Greg and Roger about that because they're kind of like first people I tell about these types of things, and they're of course they give me their advice and stuff like that. Honestly, that entire situation, that 5 month, whatever it was really my fault because like the entire summer, I was just like obsessing
Fiending.
over this girl. Exactly. Cody would know because I told him.
I had to hear about this the entire time, but
Was
it's
this
fine.
the one you're talking about from like the one you're talking about for 5 months?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This
Dang.
was like 5 months. I was confused because I didn't know what you're talking about at first. I didn't know if you're talking about one thing or another thing, but you're talking about
We'll
the
name
one
her
which was
who should we name her?
I don't even
like
know what her
Haley.
real name
Name her
is.
Haley.
Yeah, Haley.
Girl Haley, right? Yeah. And, I was just obsessed. It was bad. So eventually I confessed to her back in August because I never really got to confess because she technically rejected me, but I never got to like confess myself. So I was on a trip. I was literally on vacation and I confessed to her and it made my vacation so bad. But yeah.
That is.
I was just
Oof.
that was
That's
that
not the
whole
best way to do it.
situation.
I didn't know about all
Yeah,
that.
That was it was bad. Now when I really look back at it, it's just like now I'm
embarrassed?
glad that it happened. Yeah, I'm embarrassed, I guess. But like it's not like I regret it because at the end of the day, I learned my lesson from it, and that goes into this next situation. Happened the exact same friend group. So, all right, we're gonna go back. We're gonna reintroduce Greg. Right?
Filipino friendcest. I swear to God. I hate
So-
it. I
Don't
hate
call it. Don't
It
call it
is.
that.
It's- I
I
call
don't
that
like.
sounds
I call
I don't
terrible.
like it. I don't like
It
the
sounds
word.
way worse.
It's Filipino
That-
friendcest. It's what it is.
It
You'll hear the
sounds so
stories.
He's like
bad.
not even like I
But
can't
yeah,
even,
sure.
like, argue against it because he's
Yeah,
basically right.
It's
He's
true,
right.
but like I don't like it. I don't like the word.
Yeah. Okay. So, my streak of liking people is kind of like burning out. It's like I want to say around January 2024. No, 2025, my bad.
Mhm.
We have this one friend in our group. We're gonna name her Alyssa, right?
Oh, name him. Who?
There's a lot of names in this group, but like, yeah. So Alyssa, right? There's this thing in Filipino culture when a girl turns 18, they usually have this big birthday party. It's called a debut. And Alyssa, me and her have been friends for like since 5th grade, maybe. No, really like since like 7th grade, but I've known her since 5th grade. My parents know each other, they talk a lot. So yeah. So she has a boyfriend, so I'm not like trying to date her or anything. But yeah, so I have to be her escort, which is basically the pairing for the dance that they do at this debut. And usually the dance, which we call a cotillion. If you've heard of a quince, it's basically the same thing.
I was gonna say it sounds like a quinceanera.
Yeah, it's basically
It's a DSA Ocho. Okay.
yeah. It's just 18. It's just it's the quince for Filipinos at 18. So I'm her escort, and we have to have a cotillion group. So we have the people from our main friend group, which is about 4 pairings, I think. And then Alyssa's like, "Oh, I need to find another pair." And she brings these people that we know of, but they're not part of our main friend group. Like we don't really talk that much. And one of them is this girl. And this girl, at first I didn't really I didn't see anything in her. But then, we had more and more practices for Alyssa's debut. And, I start kind of liking this girl, right? I'm like, wow, maybe she's kind of pretty, right? and I think we have like similar interests, stuff like that. So I tell Greg and Roger about this. I always tell them about relationship stuff, and they were there with that Haley girl, so they know what's up. So I tell them, hey, I like one girl in our group. I think maybe I might try some. And Greg goes, oh, do you want me to text her to like see how things are, something like that, right? And then I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Because like he just like does whatever he wants, because like he just texts whatever. He's very social, right? So, and then he says something like, oh, you want me to put you on or something, yada yada yada. And I'm like, sure. Now listen, I don't expect him to do like anything, right? Because like I'm not trying to get him to actually do the work for me. I know I have to do this.
Greg's
So,
also unreliable. I'm just gonna be honest. Greg is very unreliable in his
Aw.
work.
Listen, he pulls through sometimes. But yeah, so Greg's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So he starts texting her. And yeah. So he doesn't really report back to me on about. So I just keep trying to talk to her on Instagram, slide up on notes, trying to make conversation. It's not really going that many places. I still like her, but like it's kind of not really advanced way. So come like April, midway through April, Alyssa has her debut. I dance with her because I'm her partner or not. And then, I also try to talk to the new girl. And conversation's a little dry, but it's there. Something, I guess. So my efforts kind of dwindled at that point, the debut, because like it's just not, it just doesn't seem like. So 2 weeks go by. I don't really talk to her that much. But something odd I noticed with Greg, right? Now Greg, he's with this one girl. We're just gonna name her like uh Kaylee. Okay. Kaylee. He's with
Kaylee and
this one
Haley.
girl named- Yeah. Don't mix her up with Haley, but yeah. There's a lot of names to her. There's a lot of people at play.
Moving
But,
parts.
He's with this one girl named Kaylee. Now, over the summer when I was doing my little thing, my little shabazzle, right? He was with Kaylee, right? And he had a huge roller coaster of ups and downs. I'd always tell him, listen, man, just do like the best, what you think is the best. I want you to succeed. But then again, if you're sacrificing your self worth for this, I don't know if it's really worth it, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. A lot of the times he probably should have broken up with Kaylee, but he didn't. He stuck through. He was very loyal. Now, during April, I start noticing he's talking to the new girl. And I'm like, huh, that's funny. I think they're really good friends, right? I just think they're really good friends because I think they knew each other in their childhood. So I thought, they're just like catching up, right? Um, they talk a lot. I start noticing they're playing like games at 1 a.m. in the morning together, stuff like that. I don't think much of it. I see their Instagram notes. It starts becoming like they're like very synced up on their notes, sending signals through their notes or something. But I still think, they're just really good friends, right? Come Wednesday. Now, oh my God, I have to introduce two more people. But yeah, there's these two other people who are like his childhood friends, Greg's childhood friends. And they've known him for a while. And but they're part of our friend group as well. So during track practice, they're talking about some, oh, Greg, are we gonna go to Walmart after school for your little project? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, project? What project? Because what they're up to. And then they're like, yeah. They kind of brush me.
Oh, is
So
this
I don't really-
Greg? Is this Greg and like Roderick? I guess.
No, not Greg and Roderick. There's no Roderick in this situation.
Okay.
It's the two like girls that are his childhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They kind of brushed me off about it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So
Gatekeeping?
I don't really push for it. Essentially, they were gatekeeping. So I don't really push for it. I don't push for much. And then come Thursday morning, I see my note or on my Instagram feed, check their notes. Die for You by The Weeknd. That's the song, right? Love song. 2 hearts underneath it. And I'm very confused. Now, at the time, I was trying to figure out a situation where it's like, I think I know what's up, but I was trying to think of ways it wasn't the case. I was thinking, oh, maybe the new girl's talking about, some crush he has, and Greg's talking about Haley, right? Or not Haley, Kaylee, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is reaching further than Walt Chamberlain.
I'm just gonna put K. I'm just gonna put K. K. He's dating K right now, right? Well, they're not technically dating, but like they're basically together. So I think it's, I think they're just maybe they're just syncing up their notes somehow because they're friends and they did the same thing by coincidence. Yeah.
Nah, bro.
Suspicions.
Nah.
Oh,
You see
Guy
where this is
doesn't know.
going. My
holding on.
suspicions are raising, but I make it a point to ask one of the childhood friends. We're gonna name her E. About this at school because I have a class with her.
There's
I don't
more
have-
context to that, which makes it even worse. But like,
Yeah, keep in mind, I don't have a class with like any of our other like friends in the group because they're all off campus because they're doing the early middle college program. So I don't really like see them much IRL during the school days. But yeah, I asked E about it. Or no, I don't ask her yet. I make it a point to ask. So come to the block that I have you in my class, right? She showed me a picture on her. Now keep in mind, I didn't even ask her anything. She just showed me. And it's Greg, like late at night, like 1 a.m. or that, because they were on a video call or something. Greg holding up and it says the letters PR. I scroll on her phone on the photo. It says, the next photo says PRO. So I think PRO. And then I'm like, oh, prom, because that's coming up in 2 weeks, right? And then I'm like, oh, who's he asking out to prom? And I think at this point, I thought it was still K because I thought Greg was still with K. But I go back into my memory bank and think to the morning. I saw the Instagram notes. And then I'm like, wait. So I asked E what I was going to ask her. Oh, yeah. Does Greg like that new girl? And that is when I found out. She didn't say it outright, but she basically told me. So she tells me everything about, not everything, but she tells me, yes, Greg, he does like K. And K also like, right? And I'm like, wow. Because all of the pieces were connecting in my mind. But the one thing that like really, really got under my skin was the fact that I told Greg that I like this girl. He said he was going to say something to her about like, oh, what do you think of me, Aldrin? What do you think of him? What do you think of him, right? But then he decided to not talk to me about it for the next like 2 months. And then I find out through an Instagram they like each other, which is absolutely crazy work.
that's foul work.
Don't you think?
It's trifling.
yes, bro.
I didn't even get to find out through him.
That's
Bro,
like
he wasn't even planning on telling you, bro.
Code rules broken.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll get to
so
that
many.
because that's not even like half the story. But yeah, so he doesn't like, he thinks things are normal like that day. And I'm just like completely wow. I'm just like flabbergasted about how all of that. So after that day ends, I pull up to Roger's house, talk about it. And Roger's like, yeah, man, I knew about that. Right. And, it's kind of weird. I don't know, because I still trust Roger. But like, he didn't tell me about it. I mean, he did tell me about like the things after I asked him about it. And I do appreciate it. But he didn't know earlier than I did. But yeah, so he's telling me, oh yeah, so turns out Greg told Kay, or no, not Kay, told the new girl that I liked her, right? And since they liked each other, right? And they knew that I would find out soon, the new girl was like, oh, Aldrin can just be like, he can just suck it up, be quiet, right? Which made me stop liking her instantly, because honestly, that's just like rude, right? Which is, it's just so disrespectful. And Greg, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, at some point, someone asked him, like, oh, what are you going to do about Aldrin, right? What if he finds out? And he just didn't do anything. He just didn't do anything. So that just made me extra. Because it's like he didn't plan on anything or something.
But he's just
And-
gonna,
You're just gonna
Yeah.
take it.
right?
He
He's
was
just
just
gonna take
gonna
it.
like. I don't know, because he was just gonna like let it sit or whatever, like do whatever about
So I
it.
hope you wouldn't find out somehow.
It's just something like
Like
that.
when
I
you confront
guess.
him about it, because like you 100% would.
No, because I knew it would happen. Like he knew it would like happen. Like I'd find out. But turns out later that night, he actually goes to her school, which is like 35 minutes away, to like watch a play she's in or something. New
Oh, you
girl.
guys don't go to the same school?
No, we don't. They
I
don't go
think
to
I-
the school
I think I missed
either.
that. Dang.
Yeah. So her school is like 35 minutes away because they live pretty far from like 40 minutes. And he goes to watch her play. He brings his two childhood friends with him, and he proposes. Right? So
Yikes.
I knew they went to the school, but I didn't know he was proposing. Actually, I think I knew at that time, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the main point. Okay, next day, Friday, I wake up to a message, and it's basically saying, hey, I thought I'd let you know that in this girl, we caught feelings for each other. And, we've just been riding off of that. So I thought I'd tell you before you found out.
A little late
Brother.
for that. A little
Brother.
late for that, muchacho.
Brother, I already found out.
It's just like,
Like, bro.
my brother.
I found out. So I just let everything spill about this entire situation. I'm like, yo, this was not cool. I sent him I think I maxed out like the Instagram message limit like 3 times.
Oh.
That's how much I wrote to him. Because that's how much I felt betrayed, backstabbed, and just like deceived by everything. Because listen, I tell you like this, and then you just stop talking to me about it. And then you go and tell her you like her, and now you're basically dating her. And the one thing that ticked me off is that he knew how the situation with me last year went with that Haley girl, right?
Mhm.
Yet he still decided to do all of it,
Also, yeah.
which I just
What happened
find-
to Kay?
We'll get to that actually.
All right.
Kay, I think Thursday night, I joined call with Kay, and we basically broke down what happened. It turns out Kay knew about this 10 days before I did. He
Damn.
had broken up
10
with
days.
Kay. He broke up with Kay.
To get-
10 days before I found out. And he basically told her, yeah, I have feelings for this girl, and so I don't want to be with you anymore.
Bro, it's
Mind
so,
you, that was like
so
a
many
year and a
things
half
wrong.
on off
so many
Yeah.
things
So,
wrong
like, he
here.
thing they had.
There's so many things wrong here.
So he was talking to this girl while still being Kay. Keep in mind, they weren't really dating, but they basically were. There was the expectation was that's where it's gonna go, right?
Like a
So
situation.
they're not. Yeah, essentially, a very long one. But they were basically together. They did a bunch of couple things. They didn't do anything physical really, but all the other stuff is there. They hang out with each other, stuff like. Um, so the thing that she told me, that Kate told me, was that he didn't catch feelings for her until for the new girl, right? Greg didn't catch feelings for the new girl until the new girl confessed. Because at first, the new girl confessed to Greg, and then he rejected her, right? But then he started talking to her. He kept on talking to her. Like usually, if someone likes you, right, you don't just like keep talking, or else the feelings might get like a little messy there. He kept on talking, and he just let it sit. He didn't really do much of it. Like, stop it. He was basically embracing all the flirting, all that. So eventually, he gained feelings for the new girl, and both of them started liking each other. And that's when he broke. Okay. So that was just insane. Now, I would have been a lot more affected by it had I liked the new girl as much as I did Haley, right? Because with Haley, I was like basically obsessed. It was crazy. So I basically, when I think back to it, I really learned my lesson, Haley. Because if Haley had not happened, I would have not known how to like someone while also being realistic about it and just like acknowledging the reality of it. Because I knew that like this
That's good.
situation.
Yeah.
And so my feelings were, they kind of dwindled. They were much, much less how I liked Haley. But it's just the fact the feelings were still there. Greg knew is what I always go back to, which is like, wow. Because, the past like maybe 2 years, we have been like friends, we've been talking, we've had these deep conversations, stuff like that, me, Greg, and really the rest of it. And, I always thought the girls in our group, they can do whatever. The guys, we're always going to have each other's backs. We're going to look out for each other, stuff like that. And, I'd always tell him, I hope you and Kay work out. Like, despite everything, sometimes I could be a little mean to him. But despite everything, I really hope that they work out. I really hope that anyone in our group worked out because I just, I'd love to see them succeed, whatever. If it's a relationship, if it's, anything. But it's just, he didn't have the same courtesy this situation. And that really was my heart. Because I just felt a strong betrayal. And that was broke me, bro, at the time. So, yeah, after I sent those 3 long paragraphs to him, I actually had to carpool with him to the track meet that we had that day, which was a little awkward.
Okay, that's rough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
bro.
I didn't really talk to him. Yeah, I didn't really
Give him a
talk to him in
message.
the car ride.
Come around here often? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, I offered to talk in the backseat, but our track teammate was driving us, so like it would have been a little awkward to understand. But he was like, nah, just, do it over. So, I sent those 3 messages, 3 very long messages. He doesn't respond until Monday morning, I believe.
I don't know, the whole weekend.
Yeah. So I sent the message Friday morning. I didn't get a response until like Sunday 1 in the morning. Well, I woke up at 6 a.m. for school, right? And that's when I saw it. And, to me, the message was, he did apologize, I believe. I haven't read it in a while. He did apologize about the whole thing. And he was being like regretful, I guess. And yeah, I guess he hit the marks. But to me, it felt like he was saying what he was supposed to say, right? But not really what he wanted to say. That's what I thought. Um,
I was just saying
so-
what he thought you wanted
Like-
to hear.
so yeah, I take it like with a grain of salt. 'Cause at this point, all I can think about his character is that he's just a fake. What he did was super fake,
Mhm.
super, and it was just messed up. So I respond to it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you were doing, what you thought, but like, you've changed everything. From here on out, it's gonna be like very different. Like, things are gonna be hard to be around you, man. It's gonna be hard to bring the group back to former levels. And with all the fun we're having. So yeah, I mean, I basically say that he's like, I hope we can get back to the level we're at. And I hope so too. And I'm still very mad at him. I'm also kind of mad at the childhood friends that were sticking with him, because like they knew what was going on and they helped him make the poster board and everything, right? And like, but the thing is, they didn't like the idea of him and the new girl, but they still helped him with the poster board. Apparently, they were paid to help him with the poster board, but still,
Hired goons.
yeah,
Exactly.
like actually hired goons. So yeah, they were hired to help him with the poster board, despite them not wanting to be part of it or like support the relationship or whatever. That's also another thing. I can't really trust them anymore because they're always gonna have loyalty to Greg, and that's not something I can just like. Why would I tell you things if you're just gonna be loyal to Greg either way? So yeah, I can't really trust them as much anymore. But I know it's not their fault. It's really Greg's fault. But so with Greg, the next like week or two, it's kind of, we see each other a lot, but it's like we're not really talking. So yeah, I mean, that's where it was up until today, actually. Today we had a regionals track meet, and he was in the 4x8 relay team with me. I still really wasn't talking to him, but like, we were just, I would like, say good job, after we ran our race, stuff like that. And, I'd just be supportive. And at the end of the meet, I thought we didn't get any medals. That's what I thought. So I left. But then I got a call from him and he's like, hey, yo, we got a medal. And I'm like, really? Wow. So I turn back around. We go back to the school, get the medal. And my mom's there. She's like, "Oh, let's take a picture with you two and stuff like that." So we take a
Damn.
picture and all that. It's kind of cool. He says, "I'll see you." We were like we were dabbing each other, not dabbing each other, but like I was fist bumped him, right? And we were just left on a good note, I guess. And then later, on Instagram, he texts me and he's like, "Yo, not on some gay timing, but I miss talking to you, right?"
Not on
And I
some.
was
Okay.
That's how you know he wasn't lying either.
So, I was like, yeah, I appreciate him. Because like, we got in talk for 2 weeks and I just felt like a lot was like a lot of stress was on me just thinking about like all those things. And like I didn't really like that there was like tension always. But today it kind of makes me feel hope for how things are gonna be. Because, despite him doing all those things, at that point, it felt like he kind of cared. Like I felt like he cared. At that point, or before today, I was like, oh, he just or like give a crap about things, right? So today,
Aldrin,
yeah.
Tori, just please tab back in to the game.
Oh, yo. Yeah. So after the meet, after I get the medal, my mom's like, "Oh yeah, let's take a picture, guys. Let's take a picture."
Yeah, we're a little
So we
forward,
take the
more than
picture.
this.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll see you around." gives me a little like bro tap. I mean,
Mhm.
A bro tap. A bro tap.
Where
And
was this
then,
bro tab?
just like a little like I don't even know how to describe it, like a
Like a
backhand almost.
skadoosh?
Like you like taps my shoulder, like kind of like that. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
Oh, you got
Bro tap.
buddied.
Okay.
In the car, I'm like I'm on Instagram. I got a text from him. He's like, "Yo, man, not some gay timing, but I miss talking to you." And I was like, "Huh, wow."
So you know he's not lying.
And no, like I knew he wasn't lying because the way he texted, he was like, "Hey, man, I'm not gay or anything, but I miss talking to you." LMAO in all caps, and that's like how he actually texts. When he texted
Yes.
like apology or whatever to me, he was all very formal, punctuating and all that.
AI.
Oh
But
yeah,
I can
no,
tell
like
this was his like actual. This is like actually him.
I've never
So,
thought
you
about having
know-
Aw.
ChatGPT write an apology for me.
I was like, yeah, I appreciate it, man. And we kind of talked for a little bit. He went to drive home, but yeah. So off of today, I guess we're on better terms. It's keeping the peace.
Yeah.
Because I
Keep
talked to
it
my
cordial.
parents about. Yeah, I talked to my parents, and they also agree. Yes, or what Greg did. What Greg did. Yeah, what Greg did
Yeah.
was was very fake of him, and that's not quality I should have in some. So I said all that I needed to say, and my parents were like, once you say all that you need to say, just stop talking about it. But I guess I'm talking about it now. I'm sorry, mom. But yeah, they said stop talking about it. Don't show that you were affected by it to them or to your group, because with our group, word gets around. So they're saying all of that, and I was just trying to keep my peace, because the biggest lesson I learned from this whole situation was to keep my peace, because in that situation, it's really how I handled things, and how I decided to move forward. But after today, I think I'm more looking forward to keeping a connection, completely burning that, because I'm still gonna be seeing. We have another debut to like do, and him and his girl are gonna be in that debut. So I might as well make it less awkward with one of them. So I mean, I'm not gonna be buddy buddy with him. I'm still gonna keep my distance a little bit, but no, there's hope. There is hope. So I guess the lesson for the viewers is
It could be a
keep
long
your
one.
peace, keep your peace, and identify the friends that are going to stick up for you and those that are going to stab you in the back. But there's always room for forgiveness.
All right, well, I think that's enough to finish the episode. One of our hosts, I think, might be asleep at his desk right now.
Actually, I passed out. He's gonna fill his whole PC with.
Yeah,
no,
this
I'm
was
actually
video
like I'm
wrong.
like battling like sleep syndrome right now. I'm like
Oh, okay. We can wrap it up and let you go to bed. Yeah, that's how you do it.
All right,
guys,
well-
thanks Aldrin for showing up finally.
Yeah,
I think this is our best episode yet.
Yeah.
You might be a
Yeah.
recurring,
Each one's
recurring
new
character. I don't know.
well, that's about it for this episode. I just wanted to thank you guys for listening, if you're still listening, and I just wanted to say thank you, Aldrin, for letting us have you on here. Like,
Yeah, of
so you
course,
can
man.
say
It
your
was fun.
stuff for everyone here.
Yeah, it was fun talking about my experiences, listening to you guys. Yeah. It was great. It was great.
Yes. And yeah, well, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to check us out on Spotify. It's just the audio version. And then if you guys are on Spotify, check out YouTube, because there's a video version. It's just been this.
All right, yeah, we're done. We're done.
Yeah.
And
Boys, your
we'll see
team
you in the
winning.
next
You guys
episode.
have 9 minutes on the clock.
Bye.
That was true.